The searing pain of the contraction ripped through me, and I clutched the hospital bed side rails, trying to breathe through it. My body was drenched in sweat, my mind foggy from exhaustion, but through the haze I could hear him laughing. I turned my head slightly and saw my husband standing at the foot of the bed, phone raised, recording me like I was some kind of freak show. "Oh man, you should see your face right now," he chuckled, angling his phone for a better shot. "This is gold." The nurse beside me shot him a glare, but he didn't care. He was too busy entertaining himself. My humiliation burned hotter than the pain in my abdomen. I wanted to scream at him, to grab his phone and throw it across the room. But another contraction took me hostage, and all I could do was grit my teeth as he laughed through my agony. "She looks like something out of a horror movie, doesn't she?" he said, nudging the doctor. I swear, if she had a demon voice, we could sell this to a film studio. The doctor ignored him. The nurse sighed, but no one told him to stop. I had always known he loved being the center of attention. It was part of what made him so charming when we first met, his ability to light up a room, to make people laugh. But lately, his jokes had changed. They were no longer light-hearted and playful. They were cruel. And now, in the most vulnerable moment of my life, he was making a joke out of me. A sharp pain shot through me, and I cried out involuntarily. "Oh, come on, babe," he groaned, still filming. "You sound like you're dying. It's just a baby. Women do this all the time." Just a baby? As if my body wasn't being ripped open, as if I wasn't giving birth to his child. My vision blurred with tears, but I swallowed them down. I would not give him that satisfaction. Then a beep. My phone, buzzing on the hospital tray beside me. I reached for it, desperate for a distraction, and when I saw the screen, my stomach turned to ice. "Notification! Jason tagged you in a video." I barely had the strength to tap the screen, but I did, and there it was, a video of me, mid-contraction, my face twisted in pain, my body writhing. The caption? "And she said she wanted another one. LMAO. My heart slammed against my ribs. He had posted it. He had actually posted it. I turned my head, my throat dry. "Did you seriously put this online?" "Relax," he said, rolling his eyes. "It's funny. People love this stuff." I glanced at the comments. Already his friends had chimed in. "Damn, she better not break your hand, LOL. Can't wait for the post-birth pics. She's gonna look rough." My pulse pounded in my ears. My humiliation was now public. I looked back at him, my so-called partner, my husband, the man who was supposed to love and support me. He was grinning at his phone, too busy basking in the attention to see the fury rising inside me. The pain, the exhaustion, the betrayal. I swallowed it all down. This wasn't the time to fight. But I knew, at that moment, that something inside me had changed. He thought this was funny. He had no idea what was coming. I stared at the screen, my vision swimming, my hands trembling with exhaustion and rage. The contractions were still coming, still tearing through me, but now they weren't the only thing making me shake. He had posted it, not just recorded it, not just laughed at my pain in the moment, but shared it with the world. My suffering, my vulnerability, my most raw and intimate moment, turned into content for his amusement. I forced myself to scroll down, my breath shallow. More comments, more laughing emojis, more people treating my agony like a joke. "She looks like she's auditioning for The Exorcist. Bro, she gonna be mad when she sees this LMAO. The words blurred together, bile rising in my throat. I knew these names. These were his co-workers, his friends. Some of my friends, people who had been at our wedding, people who had once congratulated me on my pregnancy. And now they were laughing at me because he had invited them to. Another contraction crashed through me, but this time I clenched my fists, my nails digging into my palms. This wasn't just pain anymore. It was something sharper, something colder. Hatred. I turned my head and looked at him. He was still grinning at his phone, probably replying to comments, basking in the attention like this was his moment to shine. My voice came out hoarse, barely above a whisper. Delete it. He didn't even glance up. Huh? Delete the video. Finally, he looked at me, eyebrows raised like I was overreacting. Oh, come on, babe. It's just a joke. Nobody actually cares. Nobody actually cares. I swallowed hard, my body trembling, every fiber of me screaming to grab his phone and throw it against the wall. But I was too weak, too drained, so I did the only thing I could. I memorized everything. His smirk, his dismissive shrug, the way he rolled his eyes like I was the one making a scene. I burned it into my memory, because I knew this moment would come back to haunt him. The nurse beside me cleared her throat, shifting uncomfortably. Sir, maybe now's not the best time. But he waved her off. Relax. She's fine. Women do this all the time. The contraction passed, leaving me shaking, but I barely noticed it. Because at that moment, I knew something for certain. I was done. Not just with this moment. Not just with the video. With him. I wasn't going to fight him here. I wasn't going to cry, wasn't going to beg. That would give him too much satisfaction. I would wait. I would let him think he had won. Let him think that his little joke would blow over. That I would be too busy with the baby to stay mad. But I would not forget. And when the time came, when I had my strength back, when he least expected it, I would make sure he regretted this for the rest of his life. I don't remember the next hour clearly. The exhaustion took over. I delivered our baby, and for a moment, I let myself focus on the tiny, fragile life placed on my chest. My daughter. She had nothing to do with him. She was mine. But as I held her, feeling her tiny heartbeat against mine, I glanced at my husband. He wasn't looking at us. He was on his phone, probably reading the latest comments. Something inside me snapped. This was supposed to be one of the most important moments of our lives. A moment of love, of unity. And he had turned it into a spectacle. I realized then that he had never really respected me. Not as a wife, not as a partner. And now, he didn't even respect me as the mother of his child. That night, as I lay in the hospital bed, too tired to sleep, I made a plan. I wasn't going to scream at him. I wasn't going to plead for him to understand. No, I was going to be smart. By the time I was done, he wouldn't be the one laughing anymore. I played my part well. When he handed me my phone, acting like nothing had happened, I took it with trembling fingers. Not because I was still weak from labor, but because I had to pretend I was still that helpless woman in the hospital bed, too tired and overwhelmed to fight back. I saw the video was still up, still public, still gathering comments and likes. I didn't say a word. I just let my thumb hover over the report button, knowing full well it wouldn't be enough. No, this was bigger than a single post. This was him. The man I had given everything to, who had used my pain as his entertainment. I had spent years making excuses for him. He doesn't mean it like that. He just has a dark sense of humor. He loves making people laugh. But this wasn't humor. This was humiliation, and I was done excusing it. I started with small things first. When we got home from the hospital, I let him believe I had forgotten about it. I let him tell the story to his friends, exaggerating details, laughing about how I had screamed so loudly that the nurses probably had hearing damage. I let them laugh along, I let them pat him on the back. And then I started laying my traps. The first thing I did was secure myself financially. I had access to our shared accounts, but I knew better than to move large amounts of money all at once. Instead, I slowly started shifting funds, paying bills from a separate account, opening a new one in my name only. At night, while he snored beside me, I planned my escape. Every document he had ever sent me, every bank statement, every insurance paper, I copied them. I made sure I knew exactly what I was entitled to. And while I did that, I started looking for evidence. I went through his phone when he was in the shower. He was careless. He never changed his passcode. It was always his birth year, as if he thought he was untouchable. And what I found made my blood run cold. The video he had posted of me in labor? That was just the latest. There were dozens of videos and pictures stored in hidden folders. Me, asleep with my mouth open, captioned, "She could catch flies in there." Me, sick during my pregnancy, throwing up, captioned, "Morning sickness? More like demon possession." Me, crying after an argument, captioned, "Guess who's on her period?" He had been doing this for years, laughing at me, mocking me, making my lowest moments his entertainment. And I had never known. I stared at the screen, my heart pounding. This wasn't just disrespect. This was cruelty. And the worst part? People had seen these, commented on them, encouraged him. His friends, his co-workers, people I saw at barbecues and holiday parties had laughed at my pain. Something inside me shifted. The last remnants of love I had for him shriveled up and died. I wasn't just going to leave him. I was going to destroy him. I started with his biggest weakness, his ego. I knew he thrived on attention, on being the funny guy, so I took that from him. I started responding differently in front of his friends. When he told a story at a party, instead of playing the good wife and laughing along, I would correct him. "That's not how it happened." "Oh, you're exaggerating again." "I don't remember it being that funny." It was subtle, but effective. The people who usually encouraged him started pausing. I saw the flicker of doubt in their eyes, the hesitation, the awkward silences when his jokes didn't land. And when he turned to me, expecting me to smile and play along, I just stared back, expressionless. Then I went for something bigger. I took his phone while he was asleep, logged into his social media, and I archived every humiliating post about me. He didn't even notice. Then I went through his messages. And that's when I found something I hadn't even been looking for. A conversation with his best friend. Him. "Man, I swear she gets worse every year." "Friend, you knew what you were getting into, bro. Should have locked it down with a chill girl." Him. "Yeah, but now she's trapped. Baby and all. She ain't going anywhere." Trapped. He thought he had trapped me, like I was some kind of prisoner bound to him forever. He had no idea. That was the moment I knew I couldn't wait any longer. It wasn't enough to leave. I needed to make sure he felt the consequences. So I went public. It started slow. A few posts, a few carefully leaked screenshots, the messages, the secret videos, the way he talked about me behind my back. I didn't say a word. I let the evidence speak for itself. And when people started questioning him, when his friends started turning on him, I just watched. I watched him panic. I watched him scramble. He tried to delete things, but it was too late. I had backups. I had everything. And then came the final blow. His work had a family-friendly image. They didn't tolerate misogyny or online harassment. So I sent them everything. Every post, every video, every disgusting comment he had ever made. Within a week, he was called into HR. Within 2 weeks, he was suspended. And within a month, he was fired. He came home that night, his face pale, his hands shaking. "What did you do?" he whispered. I just smiled. "Oh, babe, it's just a joke. Nobody actually cares." When he finally realized the full extent of what I had done, it was too late. His friends? Gone. His job? Gone. His reputation? Destroyed. And me? I was already filing for divorce. By the time he begged for another chance, I was long past caring. I had won, and he had no idea what hit him. He paced the living room, his hands raking through his hair, his phone clutched so tightly his knuckles turned white. His breathing was shallow, ragged. The confident, smug man who had laughed at my pain, who had treated me like a joke, was gone. In his place stood someone desperate, someone who had finally realized, too late, that his actions had consequences. "You ruined my life," he whispered, his voice shaking. "I lost my job because of you." I didn't react. I just sat there, legs crossed, watching him unravel. His face twisted in frustration. "Say something!" I tilted my head, pretending to think. "Oh, babe, it's just a joke. Nobody actually cares." His mouth fell open. He knew exactly where he had heard those words before. The same words he had said to me when I had begged him to delete that video. The words he had used to dismiss me, to humiliate me. Now they were being thrown back in his face, and the impact was devastating. I could see it in his eyes. The panic. The realization that he had no control anymore. He had always believed he was untouchable, that I would never fight back, that I would always forgive, forget, and stay. But I had changed. And he? He had lost. He tried to bargain first. "I'll delete everything," he said quickly. "I'll tell everyone it was a misunderstanding. Just help me fix this." I let out a soft laugh. "Fix this? You mean fix you?" His jaw tightened. "Let's be real," I continued. "You don't care that you hurt me. You don't care about what you did. You only care because you got caught." He flinched. I had hit the exact nerve I was aiming for. When bargaining didn't work, he turned to anger. His eyes darkened, his hands curled into fists at his sides. "You set me up," he hissed. "You've been planning this for weeks, haven't you?" I shrugged. "Maybe." His nostrils flared. "You're a fucking psychopath." "Am I?" I leaned forward. "Or am I just done being your punching bag?" He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Because he knew. I was right. For years, I had let him get away with it. The cruel jokes, the public humiliation, the complete disregard for my feelings. And now? Now he was suffering the consequences of his own actions. And I wasn't lifting a single finger to stop it. I stood up, walking toward the kitchen, feeling his eyes burn into my back. I poured myself a glass of water, taking my time. When I turned around, he was still standing there, watching me like a caged animal. "So what now?" he demanded. "You want me to beg?" I took a slow sip of water. "You already are." His face twisted in fury. "I gave you everything," I snorted. You took everything. My dignity, my trust, my respect." He clenched his jaw. "You're the mother of my child. And you thought that meant I'd stay no matter what?" I set the glass down. "That I'd just accept being treated like garbage because I had your baby?" Silence. A long, heavy silence. Then I dropped the final bomb. "I filed for divorce." His whole body jerked. I saw the moment the words sank in. The disbelief. The fear. You're joking, he breathed. I smiled. Number. But I hear people love jokes. His hands went to his head, gripping his hair like he could pull reality apart. No, 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 we can fix this. We have a baby now. You can't. I can. I pulled out the envelope from the counter and placed it on the table. Everything is in here. The legal documents, the custody agreement, the financial split. I made sure I get full custody, by the way. Given your history of humiliating me online, I don't think a judge would find you fit to be an equal parent. His face drained of color. You can't do this, he whispered. I tilted my head. Watch me. He grabbed the envelope, flipping through the pages, his eyes darting back and forth. He was stunned, speechless. For the first time, I saw the realization hit him. This wasn't just an argument. This wasn't something he could talk his way out of. This was permanent. I didn't mean to hurt you, he finally choked out. It was just a joke. And now you're a joke, I said coldly. He blinked, as if the words physically struck him. I walked to the front door and opened it. Leave. He just stood there, mouth opening and closing, his mind scrambling for a way out. Now, I repeated, or I call the police. He hesitated. I could see the war raging in his mind. But in the end, he knew. He had no power here. So, without another word, he walked past me, stepping outside. The moment the door clicked shut, I locked it. And just like that, he was gone. I stood there for a long time, my heart hammering, my body shaking. Not from fear, not from sadness, from relief. It was over. He was out of my house, out of my life. I picked up my phone, opened his contact, and blocked his number. Then I did the same with every single person who had laughed at me. One by one, I erased them. And when I was done, when there was nothing left of him in my phone, in my home, in my life, I exhaled. For the first time in years, I felt free. I stood in the silence of my house, my hands still gripping the phone. My body was tense, my heartbeat loud in my ears, but the moment stretched on and nothing happened. He didn't come banging on the door. He didn't call from another number. He didn't try to force his way back in. It was over. The weight of it hit me all at once. My knees buckled, and I sank onto the couch, pressing my palm against my forehead. He was gone. Not just out of the house, but out of my life. And for the first time in years, I wasn't waiting for the next insult, the next humiliation, the next cruel joke at my expense. The realization was paralyzing. I had been trapped for so long that freedom felt unnatural. For the next few days, I expected him to come back. I half expected to wake up to a string of furious messages, to hear him pounding on my door, demanding I take him back. But there was nothing. No calls, no texts, just silence. And I knew why. He was embarrassed, humiliated in a way he had never experienced before. He had spent years making a joke out of me. And now the joke was on him. His friends had abandoned him. His family was ashamed. His career was in ruins. And me? I was moving on. I focused on my daughter. She was the only thing that mattered now. I held her close, whispering promises into her tiny ear. You'll never grow up thinking this is love. You'll never let a man treat you like I was treated. You will know your worth from the very start. I had failed myself, but I would not fail her. A week later, my phone buzzed. Him. Can we talk? I stared at the screen. The message sat there, glowing, waiting. But I felt nothing. Not anger, not sadness, not fear, just emptiness. I hovered over the message for a moment. Then I deleted it without replying. He wasn't my problem anymore. A month passed. Then 2. I went through the divorce proceedings, securing sole custody of our daughter. He didn't even fight it. I think deep down, he knew he didn't deserve to. The house was mine. The accounts were split in my favor. He hadn't been careful, but I had. Everything he had taken from me, I had taken back. And every single day I felt lighter. I heard through mutual acquaintances that he was struggling. Apparently, he had tried dating again, but his reputation followed him. Women weren't interested in the man who humiliated his own wife in the delivery room. His friends kept their distance. His coworkers had moved on. He was alone. And I had never felt stronger. One evening, months later, I sat by the window watching my daughter sleep in her crib. My phone buzzed again. Him. "I miss you." I smiled softly to myself. I didn't miss him. Not for a second. I let my fingers hover over the keyboard for a moment before typing my final message. Me. I don't miss you. But I do thank you. I hit send, blocked him, and turned off my phone. Then I walked to my daughter's crib, kissed her forehead, and whispered, "We're free now, baby." And for the first time in a long, long time, I meant it. Months passed, and my world kept getting brighter. The shadows he had cast over my life, his words, his laughter, his cruelty, had faded. I was no longer just the woman he humiliated. I was me again, stronger, wiser, free. I rebuilt my life piece by piece. I got a new job, a new routine, a new sense of peace that I hadn't felt in years. And every night, when I put my daughter to bed, I reminded myself I had done the right thing. I had walked away from the pain, and I would never look back. One afternoon, I was at the park, watching my daughter giggle as she took wobbly steps in the grass. I felt someone watching me. I turned, and there he was. He looked different. The arrogance was gone. The confidence, the smirk. He looked small, like a man who had lost everything. Because he had. For a moment, I expected him to say something. To beg, to apologize. But he just stared, and I stared back. And then I turned away, because he didn't matter anymore. He was just another stranger in the crowd. That night, I sat in bed, scrolling through old photos. There we were, years ago, me and him, smiling, young, in love. Or at least I had thought it was love. I looked at my own face in those pictures. She had been so naive. She had believed he was the best she could do. She had believed she had to accept the way he treated her. I felt sorry for her. But I wasn't her anymore. I closed my phone, took a deep breath, and turned off the light. For the first time in years, my past didn't haunt me. My future was waiting. And it looked beautiful.